And continuing part 3, I wrote this book because I really, really loved my thousands of students, and I saw what happened between kindergarten and 8th grade. I will tell you as I show you a little bit of Hawaii here. I know you'd enjoy seeing that on this Christmas day. Here we go outside. This is Hawaii on Christmas Day 2007. Isn't it beautiful? Anyway, what I discovered when I was teaching, and I taught from 1971 until I retired in 2005, what I discovered was that children are born happy. Children are born knowing the meaning of life, which is to have fun, to grow, to create, to love. Children are born with joie de vivre. They are born, oh, look at the rainbow forming. They are born knowing that life is meant to be good. Look at the rainbow over Alawai Canal. This is a sign. Children are born knowing that life is meant to be enjoyed, that it's meant to be an adventure, that it's meant to be really, really wonderful. And yet they live in a culture that is dominated by systems of control, whether they be the educational system, the political system, the economic system, the church systems, the media system. Look at now, there's a double rainbow forming. Amazing. And they come in with hope in their heart, lots of hope in their heart, that education will be a wonderful adventure. And yet what they discover is that it's more like jail. It's more like a prison. It's more like being enslaved. In fact, I'm sure many of you will remember your own experience of being dragged to school with hope in your heart that it would be an adventure, that it would be fun, that you would be exposed to wonderful new ideas. There's the Pacific Ocean out there. And yet, you discovered after a while that what you were really being asked to do was you were being asked to sit in a seat for 7 hours a day and have your brain filled with all kinds of facts that you were supposed to memorize. And it kind of, what happens, what I discovered, what I saw happening, was that after a few years, usually around the 5th grade to the 6th grade, children begin to lose that golden ball, that inner joy that they're born with. Around the time they reach 7th or 8th grade, they pretty much sell out. They have to fit in to all of the systems that are telling them that they have to make it within the confines of the system. And so I watched children lose their joy, lose their love of life. And the suicide rate among teenagers is so high, I don't even think they honestly report it publicly, because it is such a travesty. We are treating our children in such an enslaving way, as you probably remember yourself. Anyway, so I'm going to continue reading on page 25 of my book, Uncle Tom's Classroom. As I watched Helen leave my classroom that afternoon, I vowed once again to find the time to write about the grueling life of modern teenagers who have come to attend public school by force. Someone needed to honestly and courageously examine what their dark predicament can teach us about ourselves, our beliefs, our culture's chosen gods, the future of education, the future of our great nation, the future of our civilization, and in fact the future of our whole world. Helen, like so many children today, has been made into an unwitting slave to so many belief systems with so many conflicting agendas that she has almost lost her will to live. The older generation is instructing her in a way that is placing a mental matrix around the inner light of who she really and truly is. Every day, more laws, rules, expectations, definitions, and regulations are placed around her life, imprisoning her in an old paradigm of materialism, competition, economic servitude, and cultural conformity. So it's no mystery why she is feeling so stifled, exhausted, dispirited, subjugated, and disempowered. She is being forcibly programmed to acquiesce to society's many outdated plans and purposes for her life, rather than encouraged to discover and follow her own unique, individual path to bliss. Society wants her to become a governable, malleable, subservient, unquestioning Uncle Tom. And I quote Martin Luther King, where he said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that." And then Abraham Lincoln, "Adhere to your own purposes, and you will soon feel as well as you ever did. On the contrary, if you lose the power of keeping your own resolution, you will regret it all of your life." Helen is experiencing firsthand an unrecognized but insidious and unrelenting pressure from society and from the many systems that control our society to surrender her own inner will, her own deep inner personal purpose for existence to the system, whether it be the familial system, the school system, the economic system, the governmental system, the religious system, the media. They're all part of an intricate indoctrination system, which even includes peer pressure. Helen is being enslaved every bit as harshly by the institutions and systems around her as was the legendary Uncle Tom, who was so brutally chained to the old plantation system back in the days of Uncle Tom's Cabin. It is so strange that the institutions of today treat our youngsters as if they are an inferior race of beings, a race that the older generation seems to believe must be rigidly controlled, dominated, programmed, hypnotized, and threatened into becoming compliant, consuming capitalists, rather than the cosmic super beings and masters of the quantum field they were created to be. And I quote John Lennon, "They keep you doped up with advertisements, religion, and TV, and they tell you that you're clever and classless and free, but you're still peasants, as far as I can see." John Lennon was one who kind of knew what was going on, and his great music reflected that awareness clearly. We must wake up and recognize the mental conditioning that has turned us, most of us, into a race of unquestioning lemmings and programmed us to live in unnecessary limitation and bondage. And we must stop passing that indoctrination down to our children under the guise of so-called free public education. This is why I am writing Uncle Tom's Classroom. I intend to offer some radical new ideas about ways to liberate our children and ourselves from all the institutionalized belief systems and limiting definitions of self. There is an alternative to the present dictatorial tactics now being used to program our kids into enslavement, into submissive subjugation. And then I quote David Icke. "The human race is not evil. It has just allowed itself to become a manipulator's dream. It has given up free thinking so much that it hasn't even noticed the cultural coup d'etat that has happened to the mind. What is needed is a reconnection with the higher dimensions so we can begin to enjoy our natural and holistic connection with the multi-dimensional cosmic self that lives within us. I call my holistic approach, the one that I developed, the cosmic curriculum of the super self. And I know that it can free and liberate children to remember, reconnect with, and become who they really, really are. I know because I saw it happen over and over and over again in my own classroom at AP Giannini Middle School in San Francisco, California. The cosmic curriculum of the super self is able to release the inner genius within children because it helps them log on to the real